please welcome Stefan Rehm.
Hi, welcome to Top 5 Tricks from 5 Years of Vegan Activism. I do vegan outreach on the street mostly, and maybe I can share something today with you you might use or not, I don't know. Let's find out. We have to be sure what our setting is. There are like 3 main settings we could have. Debate, where I don't care about you, I care about the audience. A coercion or assault lecture, where I don't really care if you want to do that what I say you because you have to. So I don't have to be very good. And an outreach conversation, a situation where one is free to leave or do what they want. And we'll see now techniques mostly for outreach conversations. These other 3 techniques are all valid in their own rights. And you have to be sure in which situation you are. If I give you a lecture, I don't care about you. But if I'm outreach conversation, it's mostly about you. To be okay if they don't become vegan. Horrible, because we do all this work so other people become vegan. Now I tell you, don't care about that. How could that work? Why do I say such outrageous thing? In the beginning, I was convinced I can make anyone vegan. I knew all the facts, I've studied them all, I had all the training I think there was, and everyone could become vegan. I just have to talk with them, and then I find the missing link and I give them to them, and bam, they're vegan. I was one time at climate camp somewhere, and I was doing something else, and someone sat next to me, they saw my vegan sticker, they started talking and asked, why are you vegan? And there are good reasons to not be vegan, and I started to do some half-sort outreach conversation, and at some point the person said, yeah, to be honest, I have animals and I kill them, and it gives me joy to kill them. And I was, what do I do now? Because it was the first time I met someone who really said they're not only okay with killing, they enjoy it. And I was like, okay, I have to leave the conversation. I was stumped, because I really wanted to make them vegan, and if someone said, I know that, but I don't care, not even I don't care, I really enjoy it. And it gave me a sleepless night until I realized if I would be okay, like I have no way to force that person. Before that I had in my mind I can make anyone vegan, so it was obvious that this person would have also become vegan if I just tried hard enough, but I realized I have no idea how to reach them. It's legal, I have no gun or anything. And then I realized when I'm okay with her not going vegan, I might have not been shocked in that moment. I might have asked, how do you kill the animals? Is there any way you wouldn't kill an animal? Are you okay with anyone killing animals? Or is it okay to kill just for fun, or do you eat them? Like, I could have found so many more ways, but why? Just give you the answers. Because one thing, it takes away the pressure. Like, if I'm standing there, you have to go vegan, I'm very hard. You say that, no, then it's a hard fight. But if I'm okay, I don't care. You can say anything, but if you want to go vegan, you can go vegan. If not, there's nothing I can do. Then also I can think more openly. Like, I can't be shocked, like I can't be in a situation where I'm not able to not think. And also people realize if I want to make them to do something which I want. If I'm here and I really want you to clean your room and, I don't know, or go vegan or whatever, then realize. Like, most people don't like to be told anything, and people want to figure it out themselves and come to their own conclusion. It's much easier if I'm totally okay if someone doesn't become vegan. Here are no techniques. This is more a mindset shift. Like, probably I guess everyone really wants animal liberation. That's why they do most of the thing. But if I talk with someone specific, I can't do anything if they don't want to. And I'm fully okay with that. I can go more easily. If I see the conversation doesn't lead anywhere, okay, I can leave. If they give me the stupidest reason, okay, you do you, I don't care. And no pressure for me, for the other person, and I can find better solution if they are presented. Because when we talk with people about veganism, we mostly want them to become vegan, and if they don't become vegan, it might feel like a personal failure. I didn't do the work right for the animals. I didn't present the right arguments. If I could have convinced them somehow, then I could have saved so many animals, and I failed. Ugh. You have to know, you can't really influence that a lot. I found the picture of a puzzle, like veganism is a puzzle. You might be the first piece that starts the picture, or you might be the last one which closes the picture. You don't know where the person are. If there's a person who have never heard about veganism, and for whom or her vegetarianism is like, what's that? That's impossible. You might have reached a lot if they just try out to cook one vegan meal. And if someone has already maybe worked with that a lot or a little bit, it might be very easy to give them the last push to say, okay, yeah, what's the point? Of course I'm going vegan now. Like you can give puzzle pieces. And if the picture closes, you can't really control. And if you see it like that, even seemingly not successful conversations might actually have been a very successful conversation. Yes?
Much more, but
yeah.
Something.
Totally. If you can't have anything, have a nice conversation. That's perfect. And we talked today by breakfast, and we said it's like if you're very angry and sad and just stand and like become like us. Yeah, just have a good time. It's a very traumatic, serious matter, but you can have a nice conversation one-to-one. Like yeah, totally. Thank you.
For me, there's a difference when someone you know and you have like a history, a baggage, and you're having this conversation, and when it's total stranger, you're meeting for the first time. And for me, personally, it's easier to talk to a stranger because the focus is on the message.
Totally. Like with family and friends, you have most often a big package, which makes conversations very difficult. And if you're okay if they don't become vegan, you could be much more relaxed, and maybe they'll join you for a visit to the sanctuary, or they ask you at some point, what are you doing all the time actually? And then you can show them. But yeah, like there's also a difficulty level, like the easiest are strangers, then come friends, then very good friends and family, and also like groups or single conversations. Like the hardest one would be a family dinner. That's very hard to make someone go vegan, but a stranger on the street might be quite easy in comparison. Cool. What's the next topic? Let's find out. Oh, less is more. Okay. 2 weeks ago, I was just listening to someone. They had an outreach conversation, and a person said, yeah, that's terrible. And they started to just give all the reasons why vegan is good. Then the person was like, yeah, that's right. And then he started to give more and more reasons. After I talked with him, I asked him what's the reason behind that. And he said the reason is he wanted to give as much information as possible in the little time they have. You might have like 10, 15 minutes with a person on the streets or in any conversation. There might be the feeling that if I don't give you enough information, if I leave any possibility open why veganism might not be okay, you might find your reason to not go vegan. So I try to push as much information as I can in the short amount of time I have to leave you no room to not go vegan. We might even be pushed by the thinking, I have to do it for the animals. If I leave anything out, ooh, that's not good. Please feel free to try it. Most people find out it doesn't work. If I stand there and I give you 20 reasons why you have to go vegan, you probably, what was the 17th again? I forgot. It's much more, it works a lot better if you stay by one topic, but truly talk about that. Make it really, really understandable. I love to listen to outreach or the street activists. And I have for me one test, I think, I don't know if I tested it, but I think I can see that is a good outreacher. The topic of milk. Most people, you can't believe it, don't know that cows have to be mothers to give milk. And we have to take that child and kill that baby. That's a huge topic. Some people ask, do you know where milk comes from? And they say no. And the response of some outreachers is to explain it. Very shortly, very rapidly. The thing is, you can't comprehend it in such a short amount, what it means to take away the baby from a mother and kill it. And what works much better, use the time, ask them, for example, when do humans give milk? When does any other animal give milk? Help them to figure it out on their own. It's something you can figure out, you just might need some time. And it's important to give that time. Maybe our only conversation or our only topic is about when do cows give milk. But if they truly understand when cows give milk, it might have a huger impact than if I just fast forwarded all the information why that is the case. Also, people need time to understand. For us, it's very obvious. If you're like me, you don't do much else except think about veganism or animal rights or liberation or something like that. But for many people, they might have a lot of other topics on their mind, and they might need some time to grasp this fully new concept. What, for my meat, an animal has to die? Really give the time. Better to give less, but make it more meaningful, make it more impactful. Yeah.
And you give them time by being quiet in between.
Mm-hmm. For example, by being quiet.
And some seconds to think.
Yes. And the next thing is there's this rule: people don't believe what you say, they believe what they say. For example, I could say, we have to kill animals for sausages. I don't know. Then I have said it. What do you think? What happens to the animals if we want sausages?
I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. And now give you the time, and now you might say, we have to kill them. That's right. Is it the first time you thought about it? How does it feel for you? It was them who figured it out. Because another very important aspect is that in outreach, I might have like 5, 10, maybe in half an hour with a person, and then they're off to their own. I might give them information, but it's better to give them information they really want. In best case, they ask me for, and help them rather to figure it out on their own. Because if they figured it out on their own, it becomes part of them. They have figured it out, and I help them how to find the information, how to make these conclusions.
When I say something and the people then change because of what I said, then it will not be a lasting change. It has to come from themselves, that they really want to do every cell of their body.
Totally.
Yeah, I just wanted to add it because it's really great what you said.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very important aspect. If I would be in a debate, care about the audience, interview, stage debate, whatever, online discussion, then I say the information in the most pictureful, wonderful way. But if I want to reach the person in front of me, they have to say it. If you become somewhat good at it, you can advance it in a way that they outreach you. There's a little trick. If someone, for example, stands there and watches the video, I might ask, hey, you stopped and watched the video. Some people just go away. They laugh about it. They say, want to take a bite of my sausage. But you not. Why? What would you say to them? Like, I can ask them to outreach me, to convince me they want to go vegan. Like, first step, let them figure it out themselves. Next level, let them convince me that veganism is right. I don't believe them.
Just one question. Like what you just said with the, like, you want them to try to convince you that
Maybe some person might say, oh, that's horrible. This shouldn't be done. They might give me something. It's very important that they have to give me something. And then I say, oh, you find it horrible. You say that has to change. We often meet people who say, that's great. They bite in their sandwiches and say, wanna try. What would you say to them? When you have an outreach conversation, it's not arguing two people against each other. You have to try to make it us look at the television, or us look at the society, or at other person, or at a cruelty or something like that, and then we just talk about it and figure out what's important to you.
So that's like when the person says like that it tastes great or something, and like you ask them why? If a person says that's horrible, here, they say, oh, that's horrible. I say to them, you say that's horrible. Sometimes people come around who say they really like to see that because it's tasty, and then they bite in the burgers. What would you say to them? And now, in that moment, they are also vegan activists. Because they have to talk to someone who makes fun about this footage.
When someone says this is horrible, I tend to say, what can we do about this? What would you do to stop this?
Totally. Yeah. That's the best case. Like you can always use also open questions, how, when, where, why, and stuff like that. It's better to use not so many topics, but make them deep, make them last, make them figure it out, and really make them stick. Make them really be sure they truly understood it, felt it in best case. Ooh, be brave. That's. It might seem that in the beginning the first two ones would be okay, be indifferent, don't care if someone become vegan or not, who cares? Less is more, let them talk, best case, don't say anything, just ask questions. And yeah, now I'm saying be brave. Ooh, what could that mean, or what do I mean by that? Most people might be in a way, they're like, oh, okay, they understood, just leave them be. In that case, you also could say, so you go vegan. Or maybe something like, what's stopping you now from going vegan? Like being very direct. And like in the beginning, be more open questions, but when you feel it, or it's a 50-50, just be direct. What's keeping you from going vegan? What's keeping you from not ever paying again for animal cruelty? Like that might be a tough question. For example, so tonight you cook vegan? Like you can ask a direct question, a closed question, like you can answer with yes or no. And you can be very direct, almost tough in some sense. And I included that because often I see it with other activists that don't have the courage to be direct. So you ask them if they want to go vegan. Oh no, I wasn't sure if I can do that. Do that. They can say no. It's great if they say no, because if they say no, oh, what's keeping you? What's holding you back from saying today I want to go vegan? It might work in two directions. One direction might be they are like, yeah, you're right. There's no reason to not go vegan. And replace go vegan with try the vegan restaurant, try the new recipe, watch the documentation, wherever your goal might lay. Or they say, no, I can't go vegan because of that reason. Perfect. Now you have another reason you might take a look at. So a brave question at the end is very good to either get a confirmation or like a contract. I don't know, my English is leaving me. Or you find another reason why they are not going vegan, you could address and figure out what could be done about that. If you feel like, oh, it's 50-50, I don't know if I can be direct, be direct. But don't understand it in a way that you just go to everyone, do you go vegan? It's like, oh, who are you? Let me alone. It's like you have a good rapport and some time, and then you might be direct. Ooh. Our next topic, understand intersectionality and understand you are an ally to the cause. This is the biggest one. I feel like I could give a whole day's workshop just about this topic. So I try to give the most important ones with the idea that you feel like, oh, that's interesting. I try to learn more about that. One thing is that it's not only about animal liberation. There are some people or even some other movements who feel like our cause is the only one. And it's not. There's this great example of feminism in the 70s. Bell Brooks wrote a great book about it, and like the traditional feminist movement started with white, rich women, and they said, here, patriarchy is the main cause of all evil. We just have to stop that. We don't care about anything else. If that falls, everything else falls in place. And then they wondered, why don't black women want to join us? I have to understand liberation in a broader sense. And there isn't one specific point I could give. It's more like, if you understand other liberation movements, by any means, you might find new ways or new ideas which could be used in animal liberation. And if you understand liberation in a more broader way, it might be easier to not make mistakes like a famous other organization did. Like, there's another thing which I find very important, which is called the white savior complex. Like thinking, I'm here to save everyone. I go to Africa, build a well, and now they are saved, or I free the women, or I give them freedom, or I'll save the animals. Like, I'm the savior, they the victims. Like, there's still this hierarchy in some way. If I would say I'm here to give women liberation, I think you would throw things at me, I hope, at least. But I can try to be the best ally. Understand, it's not my fight. I'm not oppressed in this way. We are also not oppressed in a way like some animals are. But we can try to be the best ally and do everything we can to make this oppression stop. But it's not us who, here, now we give you the freedom. No, it's still their struggle in some sense. Many people say animals don't have a voice. And that is something which ableist movement really works a lot about it. Like, ableism is like people with handicaps and something like that also have oppression in some way, and some can't talk or can't talk very well. Saying their animals have a voice, we just stopped listening to it. Anyone who has lived with an animal, they can confirm the animal can tell me if they like something or if they don't like something. They probably can't write a letter or give an interview, but I can listen to them, what they want and what they don't want. So it's less about giving them a voice, but more like starting to listening to the voice. It's a little bit letting go. You can still do the same work, but more the understanding that this is another liberation movement and you're an ally to the cause. It might be your main cause, and I have a great book recommendation I will give you, and then you might understand why Peter Singer might not have been the best influence for all. I try to make it short. The main takeaways are: you're not the savior, and animals have a voice, liberation for all, and educate yourself. Like, you can't say, I only want to liberate women, or only want to liberate animals, or only want to liberate these or that. You have to see liberation in a broader way. Of course, you have your main focus, you can have multiple, but understand that the liberation movement is a liberation movement for all. And it's a great thing to do to understand other movements or other oppressed people groups, whatever, and try to understand more about that and become a better ally. Yeah, that is understanding intersectionality in a nutshell. Like, my main focus right now is ableism and animal rights, and there's a great book about an disabled animal rights activist who share the stories or the understandings about how horrible it is if someone else is saying you are worthy of life and you're not. Like, she has this famous story of a fox who has like a broken leg. So the fox is walking funny. And some generous human sees it, oh, poor fox, you are walking funny. I will end your misery, and they kill the fox. Maybe the fox was happy? I don't know. But they say, oh, no, you're disabled, you aren't allowed to live. There's a great book about it, I recommend it. Was that your point? No.
No,
Yeah.
my point was that, like, I want to ask you, like, how far does it go, like the intersectionality? Because I think it's important to acknowledge that we don't have to agree on everything as the legal community, especially when it comes to politics. So, what can I do?
There's a book called Do Good and Get Paid. The rule of thumb was to take 2 or 3 other topics you truly understand and try to reach out, like in a more practical way. You're totally right, you can't do everything. So you might choose some fields which are somewhat related to yours in a more practical way. But I also think it's important you don't have to include everything, but try to understand better. Like, you don't have to go to the next climate justice rally, but try to understand it. The counter-example would be a group which is saying, no, we only hear about the animals, we don't care about anything else. What you do in your free time, I don't care. It's like not a clear straight line where it's okay and where it's not okay. So my recommendation for now, of course, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I tried to figure out as I go. And that's just so far the best 5 things I've learned so far, and it might be very easily that I've
learn more in the next year, so today, I don't know. And so I say, try to educate yourself, and if you understand that liberation is greater, that veganism is not only about animals, but it's more like a greater movement, I think that's very good as a start. Yeah?
Formerly, I was a queer activist, and I found that it only works top-down. Community to support queer activism or other forms of activism, but if you go up, like in the queer community, to advocate for animals, it's not well seen. It's not.
Yes, there was a great talk. You might find it on YouTube not last year, like the last International Animal Rights Conference, about a woman who made great connections to Extinction Rebellion as a vegan activist, and also to farmers. And she talked about, like, this was an amazing talk for me. She talked about how she made allies with climate activists and helped them understand the vegan cause. And she also talked a lot with farmers. And she created events where there were farmers demonstrating for veganism, and the Extinction Rebellion starting to go on vegan challenges. It's like, you're totally right. We might understand them, but it's no guarantee that they will start understanding us. Someone has to start. It might be us. So, time is running. Let's make the last one. Don't win, don't try to win. You are here to make alarms, to assist. When you outreach back to the streets, we're talking with someone on the street, our goal might be to win the conversation, to make them go vegan. If they go vegan, I make a check mark on my notebook and I say, another vegan, thanks to me. I'm great. It's not about that. When you outreach, it's not about you, and it's not about your reasons and whys. So it's your job to find their reasons and help them discover how their reasons are helping them to go vegan. Like some people saying, okay, I went vegan for this reason. So you have to go vegan for this reason. Sometimes it works if the other person is exactly the same as you. Most of the time it doesn't. You don't want to win. It's even the best case if the other person feels like they won. Great. You got me, now you go vegan. What a pity. Maybe they are like to try out new things. Maybe they actually care about somewhat animals, or maybe they have some sort of ethics, or maybe whatever. If you help discover them, they might go vegan for a reason you really don't care about. But it's not important, because they have to go on that journey. You're not there. It's their journey, and it's your job to start or help them start this journey of going vegan. Some other smart sentences. If a dialogue goes out of hand, we concentrate too much on attributes and forget to concentrate on the values. Because if it's about my reasons, it's much easier to get in an argument, which doesn't help. It's more about who's right. And if you at any time feel in the conversations, it's not about the topic anymore. It's about who's right. Step back. Maybe you even lost the conversation and you just can say, okay, I've spent my time somewhere else because there's no use anymore. And in best case, it's not an argument who wins, who is right. If you feel it's like, who's right? And last sentence, ditch the shame, don't fight who they are, embrace who they are, find what's important to them and what's keeping them to live like that. And my greatest trick is, everyone's vegan at heart, some just don't know it yet. So you're here to discover that they're already vegan, and if they discover it on their own, chances are they might stay that way. And we've got 5 minutes almost, but you made it through. It's time for a game. And it's a game. I have no idea if it will work. It's a role-playing game, and I just give it stereotypes of people you might meet on street activism. A typical situation: to choose a person of your choosing and say something like that.
Oh, I'm an enjoyer. It's horrifying. Tried, and I could never give a cheese. Like it's so good. Like.
Perfect. What's your first response to that? Someone says, that's horrific, but I can never give up cheese. What would you do? Yeah.
I'd say, I used to be like that as well, but now
For example, saying, yes, I also like cheese, but I found a way to, what do we say, like...
I would say, I used to like cheese as well. I'm more like vegan, but now there's a vegan cheese you can have, and I can't live.
Other reaction, yes?
Ask what they are willing to give up. If cheese is literally the only thing they're not willing to give up, maybe literally everything else they are willing to give up.
Perfect. Like the one is giving a solution directly. You are saying like, okay, it might be hard, but are there other ways you could try? I like that one. Any other ideas how you would react to such a situation? Yeah.
Would you still have a problem if there were vegan cheeses that are tasty?
Another way, just ask them if it would be a problem if there would be other cheese. Yes.
Maybe would you eat it if it was made from dog's milk?
Yeah. Ask if they would eat it if it was made from dog's milk, or if they wouldn't like it as well.
Maybe ask them what their favorite cheese is.
Yeah.
And then they will engage in it and say, I like this cheese because of this and this. And then you say, cool. Yet I just recently tried, if you have like a vegan version of that, and it's really good, maybe you can try it.
Yeah, perfect. Like you otherwise could say, what's your favorite? That's more a rapport building technique. If they say, I really love cheese, great. What cheese do you like the most? So it's like it might depend on which stage of the conversation you are. If you tried to build more rapport, this practice here is for something most of the people, at least I did it a lot of the time. Some people say, yeah, that's horrible, but here's some reason I can't do that. Oh, no, you can do that. I would start immediately giving a reason why they should still stop doing that, or give a solution how they could stop doing that. And this technique now, this game now here, is something incredible. We try first, before we give a solution, we give understanding. Because if you read the sentences, they are saying two things. They're saying, this is horrible. There is something which reacts. And they're also saying, but I need my proteins. I love cheese, like this and that. And phrase it now is, here's the reason I can't go vegan. I can't go vegan because I love good food. I can't go vegan because I do sports. That's not a reason. But they phrase it in a way. What we could try in that moment, if you'd say, that's really horrifying, but I can never give up cheese, I could say, you find that horrifying, that's terrible to you. And you really, really like good food.
I do.
That's all I did. I took what they said, rephrased it in a way, and made a but to an and, like bad but. So they are making the bad one smaller. Yeah, that's bad, but here's why I can't do that. I take that and say, oh, you say it's bad. And you also want to have a healthy, good body. You really can't stand that. And you also love your family. I make from a but an and now I have 2 points. And the other side effect which is happening, in best case, the other person is saying, yeah, you're right. Perfect. People who feel understood are much more open to listen now. Because if I'm too fast in giving a solution, chances are they haven't felt understood completely yet. And if I don't feel understood, I might think about how could I say how I am in a better way instead of listening to you. With that, you can, or maybe it's like the vegetarian, it's horrifying to me. Oh, you find it very horrible. And you already changed a very important aspect of your life for that. Yeah. Now you have something. I haven't done anything, but I have very good ammunition for anything I like to do now. Maybe I could use it right away, or I could use it in 2 or 3 minutes, or 5 minutes, I don't know. Maybe then I can ask, you are doing sports and you want good nutrition and you need your proteins. What would you say if you could find them? How did you find out what you need? Would that be interesting to you if there might be a better way to get nutrition? I don't know, so you can, but this is the first practice to not go after the urge of giving directly the answer, of giving directly the solution. We know that. The first thing is we give understanding. One aspect we give understanding, and we make from a but an and. Now it's not a reason to not go vegan. Now there are 2 needs of you, or 2 values of you. You find it horrible, and you like to do sports and need good nutrition. Perfect. Thank you so much. How did it go? Were there any very difficult situations you want to talk about?
Vegan at the end.
You went vegan? Amazing. Great success. Yeah. So thank you so much. If you like, please take a picture from here. I've made some book and video and podcast recommendations for arguing and also about intersectionality. I think these are the 3 best books which at least helped me to get a better understanding. There's one from Bell Hooks. It's from the 1970s, 60s. It's a very old book, but a great way for me to understand. Beasts of Burden. It's about animal disability liberation, which I really liked. And for all the German-speaking people, Der Stoff, aus dem wir sind, von Fabian Scheidler. Ich habe den vor kurzem erst zufälligerweise entdeckt gehabt. Ganz großartiges Buch, which explains why we have this need for liberation at all. He starts at the 1700s. It's like if you're into that.
Thanks a lot, Stefan.
Thank you.